Hi everyone, this is Julianne Victoria. Welcome to the channel. This is our Western astrology perspective on the new moon solar eclipse that occurs on September 21st, 2025 at 12:54 p.m. and that's here on the Pacific coast of the US. So you'll have to adjust for your time zone or look it up for the exact time for your location around the world. Okay, so I just recorded the Vedic astrology perspective. It's a little bit more straightforward than the Western one. The Western one is, you could say, a little bit more complicated or a little bit more interesting because we have the outer planets involved. So we have our new moon here. New moons are always conjoined the sun, and it's an eclipse because it's within about 10-11 degrees of the south node here. So when the sun and moon are within 18 degrees or so of the nodes, I believe it's 18 degrees, there will be eclipses of varying degrees. So this occurs at 29 degrees of Virgo. So right here, even though the sun symbol is here, the sun is right here, conjoined the moon. Opposite, let's go there, opposite, directly opposite at 28 degrees and 28 degrees of Pisces, we have Saturn and we have Neptune, who have both, you could see a little R there, have gone recently retrograde, moving back out of Aries into Pisces for one little last visit before continuing on through Aries. So we have Saturn and Neptune together in Pisces, which Neptune rules, opposite the new moon solar eclipse. Saturn, in the Western astrology perspective, I feel is anchoring down the energy. Now, Saturn's not the happiest in Pisces. He's a little watered down there, right? But he brings structure, you could say, to the Neptune and Pisces energy here. He's anchoring it down. So bringing the energy of the new moon solar eclipse into, or at least helping, bringing grounded energy to all that's going on, right? Worldwide and individually. Neptune in Pisces, he rules Pisces, and there could be this sort of nebulous, boundaryless, sort of drifting type of energy sometimes, often with Neptune in Pisces. But Saturn here is anchoring that energy down a little bit, not fully, a little bit, so that we can focus on what's going on up here with the new moon. So the new moon occurs in very practical Virgo at that last degree, which is a really intense, so you could say like the fullest energy of a sign is that last degree. And Virgo is a very practical sign, a very meticulous sign, often dealing with practical matters, our daily matters, our day-to-day things. And in this chart, which is pulled up from my location, right? So you can see this as an horary method of using the astrologer's location, or you can pull up a chart with your location. But from this chart, from my perspective, it's almost conjoined the MC in this 10th house of, you could say, of career, of very practical things. What do we want to do? What do we want to do? How do we want our everyday life to look? How do we want, you could get very meticulous, Virgo energy, meticulous. How do we want each hour of our day to look? How do we want our overall life to look? How do we want what we do, and that can specifically be career, but with the Virgo energy here, it's like, how do we want what we do in different areas of our life to look to ourselves? So in a way, you could say it's like an evaluation of potential restructuring of our activities, of the things we do, of our hobbies, of our work, of our career, of our practical matters. Now in the Vedic reading, it's very much about the material things and money and finances. And here I would say that's involved, of course, but it's also the how we go about stuff. Does that make sense? And we're not getting lost in fantasy, drifty Neptune and Pisces energy, because Saturn's there helping to anchor that down. It's like, okay, here are my dreams, right? Neptune and Pisces, here are my dreams. Here are my desires. Here are my wishes, my fantasies. Okay, what of those are practically possible, and how can I go about, what steps do I need to make to bring that or adjust that in my life? That's the energy there. Now, of course, we have Mercury here within 7 degrees of the new moon, but this is his line here. He's over here in Libra, so he's sort of away from the energy. Where in the Vedic one, he's very much involved. But what I also want to talk about briefly is this big triangle here. This big blue triangle between the sun and moon, Uranus here in Gemini, and Pluto here in Aquarius. Creating this powerful, potentially disruptive, or excitingly surprising element to what comes about from this new moon. So Pluto brings in power, transformation. He's in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, so sort of like a double Uranus energy here. And Uranus is here in Gemini, also ruled by Mercury. So Mercury rules where Uranus is and where the new moon is. In balance Libra, justice Libra. But the Uranus energy is like there may be some surprises that come in. Now it's all in a trine, a beautiful harmonious trine. So they're likely pleasant surprises. It could throw us off a little bit. Something we didn't expect, something we hadn't seen. Something powerful that transforms our everyday life and practical matters and how we go about things. And of course, what houses these lay in your chart will add a significant personal layer to it. But I do want to say some of us are going to be pleasantly surprised with what comes about, and what comes about may come from within ourselves and our own minds, right? So Mercury has a strong rulership energy over here. And because he's over here in Libra, it might help us figure out how to bring a little more balance into our practical everyday life. This may be like work-home balance, that kind of thing. But pleasantly surprised, I keep hearing. So that may occur over the next month, right? This new moon cycle, but it is conjoined, right? The solar eclipse. So it could be over the next 6 months. Some people say a year. I feel like it's 6 months till the next eclipse season. So that's the gist of the new moon solar eclipse from the Western perspective. I do want to say, be prepared to be pleasantly surprised. It'll be powerful. That could be, again, throw us off briefly, but very good in the long run. And that long run energy is supported here by Saturn, right? He anchors things for the long term. All right, that is our Western astrology perspective. The Vedic one should be up by the time this one is, and I will have the tarot reading coming shortly after. Thanks, everyone.